So the next thing is the actual important qualification. Now, part of what I did when I put this together was I try to handle things that might arise later down the presentation. Have you ever been in and gone through a presentation with a customer and you're almost finished with that presentation, or you are finished with it, and you turn and you say to them, well, we're working on our June issue. And they go, oh, June's a really bad month for me. Call me back for July. Has that ever happened? Mm-hmm. What do you say?
Why is it bad?
You know, just people don't have business at that time, and we're just really slow. It's been like that for years and years, and so.
That's what you should advertise.
Maybe this is the time that we should get you in.
Okay. Well, I haven't figured out a way to overcome that one.
Well, how about just that you are doing annual marketing plans and that you're setting the whole thing up right now?
We do an annual and we skip June. You know, well, let me tell you the real truth of the matter is June's not slow for them. They just want to get rid of you, and they figured that's the way to do it because you can't handle that, because I don't know how to handle it. So what I did, yes, ma'am?
I would say, well, what about Father's Day? It's in June. I said, don't you do anything about for Father's Day?
I sell women's perfume.
Oh, well.
So,
why can't you write up the whole plan?
but here, let me tell you what I've done to get past this, okay? I put this into my thing, so we're talking. It's the beginning of the thing, and I said to them, so, Suzanne, you're the person that handles all the marketing, makes the final decision as it relates to the marketing. So, I know that I've seen your ad in Valpak and some other direct mail programs. You know, what type of marketing are you currently doing?
We do magazines, we do a little TV, do some radio.
In TV, you do cable? Mm-hmm. And that works well for you?
It does,
How do you know?
because of the phone calls.
Ah, good. So, is there a time of the year that's good for you that you typically market yourself?
Probably in the fall.
Just the fall, that's it?
A lot of people are on vacation. And the phone doesn't ring as frequently as it does.
I ain't talking to you anymore. If you got a business that only advertises in the fall, they probably won't be here next year, so don't worry about them. What I did is I wanted to know what's a good time of the year. So, well, you know, we typically advertise in March, April, May, June, you know, and September, November, October, you know, those things. And I get them to tell me up front. Okay, if I get them to tell me up front, then, well, is there any time of the year that you don't do any advertising? You know, now, we're seeing them for July, and it's May. Okay, because we're 2 months ahead when we start this cycle. And we're closing the 1st of June for the July issue. So they don't know we're going to be talking what month we're in. So if I get them to tell me up front, then I can say, well, when we get to the point where start the closing, you mentioned to me earlier, Doug, that June's a good month for you, and that's the month we're currently working on. So I can get past that. So what I've done here is, what type of advertising are you currently using? So she told me. What months are best for them? What areas do you draw from? So when she tells me TV and radio, I got to believe that in this marketplace we don't do a lot of people that have radio, because your market is so huge that not many people can draw from this entire market unless they're a big marketer, a big advertiser. Okay?
Like done in plumbing, I heard them on the
Right. Well, now a plumbing guy can go any place, right?
Yes.
You know, a plumber, home improvement guys, they're not in the actual plumbing business. They're not in the roofing business. They're not in the window business. They're in the lead generation business. That's their whole, that's everything. They don't have leads, they're out of business. Even if they're bad plumbers, they got to have leads. So what you want to find out in question 1 is, what are they doing? What areas are best for them? What months are best for them? Where they advertise, and try to get some type of idea about the investment, the money they're spending. So when you run in Valpak, how many homes do you typically do?
10,000.
10,000 homes. Okay, what did she just tell me? What did you hear there?
Small budget. Small budget.
Small budget. What? How big?
Small area.
How much do they invest?
$300.
If somebody's, first of all, she just told me she's lying to me. Okay, because you can't buy 10,000 in Valpak.
I don't know. I've never bought an ad in Valpak.
Right. Well, they have zones of 10,000, but they don't sell 10,000. You have to buy at least 20. All right. So that's why you have to know your competitors too. But what it said to me is she's investing about $300. So am I going to try to get her happily involved with an insert?
No.
No. Full page? No. I could bump her up to a half a page, depending on the type of product she is. Because we can get them a half page for $395 for $25,000. So for only $95 more, I can give her 2.5 times as many homes and a bigger ad. I believe that I can convince somebody of that, to spend another $95, right? After all, I don't care what kind of business it is, it's only a couple more customers. So in number 2, what do you like most about your current advertising? So Karen, what is it you like most about the marketing that you're doing with Valpak?
I like the fact that they are separate coupons and not, in a magazine, and you could save them and put them on your refrigerator or in your wallet or whatever. That seems to work for my business.
You like that? Anything else?
The price. I think the price is good.
So you like the pricing of it? Okay. Nothing else?
No, it just seems to work. It helps my business.
It works. That would be one thing, right? So when you say it works, when you run an ad, you mentioned that you run, 2 zones with them for 20,000 homes. What works when you say it works? Do you get 10 coupons, 100 coupons, 3? What works for you?
For my spa, I get, between 10 and 15 coupons, and my average customer is $150. So, I'm getting a great return on my investment.
Boy, I love when somebody says stuff like that to me. It doesn't happen because, I'm confident she's probably spending at least $500, and she's doing 20,000 homes, and I can show her a nice half page for $475 and to $25,000. And of course, when I make my presentation, let me show you this next. So what would you change or improve about your current advertising program? So if you could take a magic wand and wave it, and you could make any changes you want with your current marketing, what would it be?
I would want my coupon to be the first one out of the envelope.
The first one, and that's important.
Yes, because I think when they're
Okay, what did she just say to me? She's going to want a premium position. Okay, just know that up front. So when you got my little diagram, I know you like to be the first one. I happen to have the front cover here available. You think she's going to like that? Or the back cover? Huh? That's important to her, so I can make her spend a little more money, don't you think? Get her a little happier. And then is there someone other than yourself that makes the final advertising decision? Don't just say, do you handle marketing decisions? Yeah, I do. And then you're all done. And she goes, well, I got to run this by my boss. So is there someone other than yourself that makes the final marketing decisions and advertising decisions? Crucial. And you know, like I said, sometimes you can't get away from that. But when I do the presentations, I'm going to show you how to do a presentation that they have to show someone else. You know, first of all, you want to ask them, could we get together, the three of us? No, you know, but you're stepping on their toes. My boss, you know, he told me if he's got to be here, he doesn't need me. Well, we don't want to get you fired, so I'll make sure that you understand it. And then a lead-in question. Are you familiar with Save-On? What do you know about our product? All right. The elements in this that are so crucial for me to determine your jack of spades, what do I have to find out? I have to find out what you're currently doing so I can get some type of budget in my head. You know, and there might be a time that depending on the customer, the size of the customer, I'll have a budget talk with them. And I might say things directly as, Paula, do you put together an annual budget? And do you have a set amount or a percentage of sales that you typically try to spend?
I usually try to spend about $400 a month.
Okay. Boy, I love when they tell me. Okay, that really makes it a lot simpler. And then I might say things like to them, you know, that it's recommended for businesses that have been in business as long as you, the 10 years, that you invest 3% of your annual sales. Are you any place close to that?
Not really.
And they'll go, really? Yeah, retail business, 3 to 5% is what they recommend. If you get a small business loan, anyway, it used to be, I'm pretty sure it's probably the same, they would say they want you to spend 7%. They would build a 7% buffer in there for your first year of marketing. Now, the guys that are in home improvement, that are really in the lead generation business, all of them are between 10 and 15%. Most of the guys, the smaller guys, try to stay around 10, but the really aggressive guys, like the Hansons that I told you, Hanson Windows and Building that I told you about, he tries to stay at 12, 13, but he'll go as high as 15. He says, as long as you can keep my lead cost under 15%, I'm good. So we have to figure out where they advertise, what kind of budget they have, what they like, what they don't like. Okay? If they have any other locations, all this type of stuff. What I'm going to do is when they tell me what they like, I'm going to make that part of my presentation. Right? I mean, she just told me she wants to be on top. I'm giving her a front cover or a back cover. That's where we're headed. And if she's investing in 2, I'm sure I can get her up a few more $100. You know, what does it take? Her $150 per client. She told me that, right? How many more clients does it take to pay for the difference between $475 and a full page, which is, what's a full page, $800? A cover? Somewhere around there for $25,000? $900? Either it's a couple customers. You know, this gives you, so qualification, the biggest waste of time is the time spent with an unqualified prospect. I told you about that yesterday. The girls set up some appointments with me with the daughters of the owners. It's wasting my time. I know it. I went out anyway just because I'm trying to see what's going on. But it's a waste of my time. I doubt that I'll get either one of those. Now I'm going to go to the next step and try to see if I can get Dad to meet with me with them. And I can be pretty persuasive, so maybe. It makes no sense to make a great presentation if they can't make a decision. So what you do is you short cycle it, and I'll show you how, and you just do things and you don't ask qualifying questions or closing questions. You don't try to get them to commit to anything. You show them, you teach them how to present it to the next person. So in the questions, you're going to find out where they advertise, what markets if they have more than one location, how much they're spending, which competitors they're using, when they advertise, what type of promotions they run, if any, and what has worked well with them. That's the data that you need to figure out. And then, of course, depending on what they tell me is how I present what we do. So if they tell me they're in the newspaper, if they tell me they're in a radio. One of the advantages of direct mail, Suzanne, is that we're able to target with precision the homes that are most likely to become your customers. It's a rifling approach to marketing instead of what you're currently doing in radio, where reaching everybody. Do you go all the way to Arlington Park? You know, I don't know the areas as well, but do you go all the way there with? Do you have customers coming from there? Probably not, huh?
Well, yes, I have, because a lot of times people.
Yeah, one time in 1937, I had a guy come from Arlington Park because he heard me. So, in today's world, it's critical that branding has gone away. Our marketing has to result in return on our investment. That's why direct mail is so critical and so powerful for companies like yours, because we're able to go after and target the people that are most likely to become your customer, so we don't have wasted dollars. All right, so these are the benefits that I'm going to start to lay out is going to be based on what she told me she currently does. Now, it's a fine line. You can't say, well, radio sucks. Okay? But I would say things like, you know, radio's a great medium, and a lot of people have used it very well. But I'm confident that if you found something that would give you a better return, you'd like to do that, wouldn't you? I ask questions that they can't say no to, right? But typically, they're going to tell me, yeah, of course I would. Why do you ask me a dumb question like that? So what are some of the things that we do that's better than our competitors? Some of the things that you might say, when you ask them about what do they like, they're going to tell you some different things, and what would they change, they're going to tell you different things. And then what you have to do is you're going to go through and tell them about what we do. Remember when I told you about a speech? First of all, you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them what you told them. A presentation's not much different. In this situation, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you some of the benefits that make up Save-On. Okay? And it depends on what you told me you currently advertise in. Well, what's the word? It will signify what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so if you said you're in the newspaper, I'm going to tell you things like, you know, if you were able to do a full color photo on glossy paper, is that something that you would like? Newspapers, by their mere nature, are very limited in their retentive appeal. If you could do a marketing program that would stay in the home up to 30 days, is that something that would be interesting to you? You know, you're talking about Valpak, so you might say something that has longer shelf life. You could talk about the size, if you could get a larger size than the third of a page. So you talk about the benefits of whatever they're running in. So if they're talking about radio, you talk about targetability and the ability to pinpoint your marketing without wasted circulation, that you can rifle instead of shotgun. So whatever they tell you, you tell them the benefits that we have. So we have glossy paper, 100% penetration. We have the best looking piece, the largest size, restaurants, programs easy to view because of the magazine format. It has a longer retention. It has a measurable response. If we're able to put in a number that allows you to record all your calls and track so you can measure your redemption, is that something that would be interesting to you? So I tell them some of the things that we do based on what they said they are currently doing. Do you understand that? Okay. And then, is there someone else other than yourself that makes the final decision? Sometimes you got no choice but to do that presentation, like I told you before. So this tells you what are some of the things that you're going to do. So you're going to underline when you give them the price, and you're going to have them write the price in the corner of the map, because we don't leave our rate cards out. You're going to have them circle. You keep a marker with you, because you can't write with a pen on our maps. The glossy, it doesn't do well. Or ask them if they have one. If you don't, make them circle the zones that they want to mail in. Make sure you put a big X, or you should have that on there on the map before you see them. You want to make sure next on the map it has all of our dates. So you want to talk about the dates that are good for them and have them put checks next to the ones that they're talking about based on these 2 zones and these 6 months. And then when in the middle of your map, Doug, would you grab me a map, please? So when I have the map here, so I have all the dates here. I check. I circle the different things. I put a check next to the areas. So zone 2 is really this, and these are the areas it reaches. When I talk to them about the things that we do, and they're interested, I'll talk about our microsite and our maps, or our mobile marketing, and all the different things we do digitally for them, so they can, if you read this and let your owner read this, he'll get an idea what our magazine and some of the highlights, inserts that we do, DALs, if you're interested, he might circle and put a check next to that. And then, the keys of marketing. You can go through this with them. I can do a complete presentation with this piece of paper. Give me this and a map and my iPad, I'm done. Okay? So, and then you want to make sure that you ask questions. What does he like about it? Or she? When you're all done making that presentation, you say things like, Paula, if the decision was up to you, do you think you would be going ahead with SAVE at this point?
Sure.
So ask them that, okay? Because what happens when I'm the manager and I'm going to the boss and I got to talk to a guy like me? Always angry. And I go to him and am I going to really strongly recommend this product? What happens if it fails and you told me to do it? My butt's going to be on the line, right? Am I willing to put my butt on the line for you to run and save? So by asking him some questions about what do they like about it. Well, what is it? Is there anything that you didn't like? Doug last night talked to me about what are 3 things you liked about this, Paula? And well, I like the areas we could reach. I like the months, and the pricing's pretty good, and they give us those. Well, is there anything you'd change or anything? No, I like it. So is this something you think you'd recommend to Mike when you get back?
Yes.
Try to qualify that kind of stuff with him. Is there anything else that you might need from me to help you? I'm going to leave all this with you, and we've underlined and checked the stuff. And this gives you, if you read this or let him, this gives you a really great background about what we do digitally for you and so forth.
How do I know if I'm mobily friendly? How do I know that that's going to help me?
Well, one of the things I would recommend is for you to go on your mobile phone, is go to saveon.com and pull up a couple customers and see how it works for you.
Okay.
All right? And if that's really important to Mike, you might have that pulled up prior to going to see him and say, hey, look, here's a coupon that I can go right here, and I can bring this in and show the person and redeem it right there. Okay? So, don't be afraid to get them on your side. Okay? It's critical. And, that happens, what, 2 out of 10 appointments maybe? So it's not a thing that you want to avoid. All right. So the bits of information we need to ascertain is where do their clients come from, size of ad that they could need, want, and afford, what type of program we want to get them happily involved with. Is it an ad in our book? Is it a DAL? Is it an insert? When do they advertise? What time of the year? Crucial. What's important to them? Do they like coupons? Do they like targetability? Do they like the front cover? You know, what is it that's going to be their hot button? And then what's the total amount they can invest? That's what you need to figure out after this qualification sequence. So the questions is what are you currently doing? How many, you run with Valpak, how many homes do you typically run? Do you have any other locations? What time of the year do you typically run? What do you like most about what you're currently doing? What would you alter or improve if you had a magic wand and you could improve this? And are you the person that makes the final decision regarding the marketing and advertising? Okay? And so that's the 4 basic questions. What are they doing now? What do they like? What would they change? Are they the decision maker? Those are the 4 basics. And then underneath that, you have to ascertain all this information. Where do the clients come from? Blah, 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 through conversation. Now, the beginning of that, the other side of that sheet, it's a form you can print. The other side of it is the getting acquainted. How long have you been in business? How did you get into this business? What makes you unique? How do you compete with your competitor? Is this a competitive landscape? What's a typical customer look like? How much do they invest? How many times do they come back? Do people typically like your product? How long have you been around? So that's the information to break the ice. At the same time, get the idea of what does a client look like and how much they spend. They spend $150 each person. She loves the front. She wanted to be the first coupon. I feel pretty comfortable in getting her to invest $900. Okay? That's not a big stretch for me. I'm going to give her 2.5 times as many homes, or at least 5,000 homes, but I'm going to give her an ad that's 2 times, 3 times as large, and she's on the front cover if they didn't even look at it. In this situation, they have to open up. And I know direct mail works for her, by the way, because she told me she gets 10 to 15 accounts every month. So people look at that for her product. That's critical too. So I make comments like, well, Karen, obviously direct mail does work for you. It's an effective form of media. So, that all those things. So when I say listen twice as much as talk, when I ask a question, listen to what they tell me. What would they like? I'd like to be on the front. Okay, well, you might think, well, what good does that help me? I don't have an envelope. I can't put her on I can put her on the front. How'd you like to be the envelope, not inside it? All right. Now, on the back of this media kit, I think it's on this one too, or is it this is the 2016. I talk about what makes advertising work. This is general information that you need to talk about and be able to be very fluid with when you talk to to a prospective client. You need this when they say things like, yeah, I'll try it once. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. I'm not afraid to say to them, Nancy, you told me you've been in business 10 years, and your average customer invests somewhere around $55, and they come back 2 or 3 times a year. We're going to invest $300 with Save On right now. Do you expect that to change your business?
Yes. Get more customers.
And so let's talk about that. each customer you said is worth $100 to $150. Let's say the lower side, 100, and you're investing $300. And then you have costs and all those. So how many coupons do you think you need to make this a worthwhile investment?
10.
Okay. And then I put that on that piece of paper, and I can have her sign it. I really want her to understand it, or I will show it to her. If you don't have to have them sign. I captured this so we make sure that we want to make sure you're happy. One of the things that Save On strives for, and in fact, you'll get a call from someone at our main office to make sure that your artwork went right, you understand our billing procedures and everything, and then you'll get a follow-up call after your first issue to make sure that your redemption, and we make our customer happy. It's really important to us. So 10, so you manage your activity. Now what if she would have told me, well, I need 50 coupons? And well, I'm mailing 25,000 homes. I should get at least 50, shouldn't I? Okay. So how would you handle that? You would say, okay, so you said your average customer is worth $100. So if you said you want 50 of them, that would be $5,000. So you expect to get $5,000 for a $300 return. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes.
Do you think that's realistic? No. Yeah. And if you put it that way and you put it up front, they're going to say that. They're not, they're intelligent people. They started their own business. They have some savvy. They're not, so. And you're going to keep that customer happy a lot longer. All right. New customer retention is our #1 goal for 2016. All right, the 4 elements is timing. Obviously, if a person's not ready to buy your product, it doesn't matter if you send it to them. If you send out and you're going to sell a snowblower in July, you're probably not going to sell a lot of them, are you? I mean, you're going to have to give me a heck of a deal to get me to buy a snowblower in July. Although, they have been successful, Christmas and July sales for skis and stuff like that. There was a company in Detroit that did that. But it was an annual thing, and they built it in, and people knew that, hey, every July, if I'm getting new ski equipment, and it's a big investment. And there's probably a good chance it is going to snow this year.
Maybe.
The second most important element is repetition. With repetition, you automatically get timing, right? If I'm there every month, when you're ready to buy, I'm going to be there. There's a lot of large marketers the guys that are on TV every month, every week, they got a sale going every week. A carpet guy, a furniture guy, whatever. We have Art Vans in the Detroit market, and they have a sale every week. Now, if you're not thinking about a new couch, that sale you don't even hear it. But the instant someone in the household, my wife says, we need a new couch for the living room, immediately they come to mind. At least they get an opportunity to possibly be the person that sells us that product. All right? The next most important thing is offer. Offer is more than just $10 off or a free this, or it has to be of value, and it has to be of recognizable value. I have to know what the value is. I remember looking at some ads, and it was a blind ad for house blinds, and they said, we're going to give you a free. I have no idea what this product was, but I'm getting it for free. Well, first of all, I don't know if I need it because I don't know what it was. Second of all, I have no idea the value of it. It could have been 3 cents. It's sort of like with every oil change, we're going to give you free blue stuff in your windshield washer. Not even a gallon of it. We're just going to top off your, well, that's worth an extra 3 cents or 4 cents, It has to be some value. One of the salespeople, their customer wasn't doing well, so I said, let me see their ad. They were honest to God, giving $1 off a dinner.
Oh.
I said, really? And you let them run that? Shame on you. What's the purpose of a coupon? Do you guys know that?
To get a deal.
Well, it's to get a deal, but what, as for the,
To get people in the door to bring new customers.
bring you new customers. If you, it's the idea is you got to get a person to change what they're currently doing to try you, or to add you to their list of restaurants that they go to. Okay? Well, you got to give them a reason. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with Nancy. Why should I go to Karen? Well, I'm going to buy one, get one free or something. If you do a good job and you give me a good product, I will return. And I won't always use a coupon. I remember working with a pizzeria one time, and he, his coupons, I'm not getting any coupons. And I said to him, well, have you ever tasted your pizza? I did. So often I've wanted to, But, we can't get a person to come back. We can't sustain your business. If you don't treat the people right, you don't do a good job. So that's why it's important to deal with reputable companies that have a good head on their shoulders. If they start telling you silly stuff that makes no sense, just leave. Don't, you're wasting your time and theirs, because it'll never be a long-term relationship. Your job is to build long-term relationships, right? The last piece of this is actually the offer is the last. The vehicle or media is number 3. So, remember I said close with empathy? If a person deals with just people that buy boats, tell them to run in a boating magazine, okay? If they deal with only senior citizens, tell them run it in a product that caters to senior citizens. If they deal with business to business, that's not us. If a person wants to talk to somebody who owns a home or lives in an apartment, we're your guy. So the vehicle is critical. And by the way, we reach everybody. So unless you don't want to talk to a homeowner, that's the only reason not to use us.